Hello guys, it's me, the Marianas, and I'm here to continue answering stupid anti-evolutionist questions found on the website contenderministries.org. I will probably forget to put the link in the description again. I know, I'm bad. Alright, number 11. I left off number 10. Is it possible that similarities in genetic code show a common creator instead of common ancestry? I guess. Yes, it is possible. It's certainly possible, but there's no evidence for that. And there is a ton of evidence for common ancestry, so I'm going to go with the ancestry one. Hope you don't mind too much. Unless you have more evidence to show me, then, I don't know, maybe. Number 12. How do I, or anyone answering this, how do I explain increasing complexity in organisms? Guys, come on, do this with me. NMW example. Come on, just mutation and natural selection. Mutation adds complexity. Natural selection says if it stays. It's not that hard to comprehend. Honestly, I guarantee you my third grade sister could get this better than half these people. Alright. When, where, and why did single-celled organisms become multicellular? When? I don't know. Where? Primordial ooze. Why? Because it helped them survive. I'd say the when was probably about 2 billion years ago. Ish. Possibly less. Possibly more. Like, probably farther back than that, actually. That's my conservative estimate, is about 2 billion years ago. It's probably farther back. But, again, the why? It'll survive, guys. It's not that complicated. Alright. Now this is a multi-part question, so still part number 13 is single-celled organisms evolve. When, where, and why? When? You know, that's back then, like 3 billion years ago. That's generally the consensus. Where? Primordial ooze. Why? They just did. We don't know. We don't know why. We don't know how either. Single-celled organisms. Actually, yeah, we don't know. There's the conditions don't exist anymore. There's nowhere, and it takes millions of years for this to happen. So we just don't know. How did fish change to amphibians? This is the part of evolution that I love this part. It fascinates me. Well, you see, fish are fish. They live in water. Duh. Oh, by the way, the when is probably around the end of the Devonian period. Probably, just roughly guessing. Maybe the Carboniferous. Wait, no, it's pre-Carboniferous. Yeah, Devonian. I'm gonna say at the end of the Devonian is when amphibians started showing up, or maybe mid-Devonian. But they changed to amphibians because if you think about it, on the shore, the little fish get eaten by the big fish. This is not complicated at all for anyone. Anyone knows this, you know. So the little fish, say it could go on land. Say it could do that for like 5 minutes at a time. Well, this other little fish, the same species, would also go on land, and they'd breed. And every fish, and say the little fish that didn't go on the land, that didn't use that, stayed in the water, got eaten by the big fish, and therefore died off, and did not reproduce to pass on the no out of water gene. Eventually the gene that let the fish go out of the water onto the land, that would have kept reproducing, and then simply through adaptation, mutation, natural selection, over time fish would have gotten better and better and better and better at staying out of the water to avoid being eaten by big fish. How did amphibians change to reptiles? This is still another section of the question. Again, amphibians, it just continued. Reptiles are better than amphibians at staying out of the water. They're better than being on land because, you know, amphibians, their skin isn't watertight. They have to moisten it every so often. Reptiles don't. So it just continued that train. The gene that let them be better at surviving on land just kept reproducing and kept going on until eventually, through adaptation and natural selection and mutation over millions of years, allowed amphibians to be reptiles, and amphibians for fish. Reptiles changed to birds. We found the Archaeopteryx, which seems to be the missing link. It seems to be up there. But effectively, that evolution, as far as I understand it, is that there's a small reptile, like a lizard type thing, that lived in the trees, and it found that it got jumping from branch to branch, allowed it to stay in the trees and not go on the ground and get eaten by bigger, badder dinosaurs or reptiles. This is around the Triassic, I believe, so this is pre-dinosaur or early dinosaur. So eventually, through adaptation and natural selection, and yes, mutation, it'll develop fins that let it glide more, and glide eventually, through millions of years, more adaptation went to flying. And these flying reptiles, well, they didn't last too long, did they? I mean, they lasted a fuck long of a time, like hundreds of millions of years, but birds overpassed this because birds were more able to adapt. They're more warm-blooded creatures, and with feathers and such, are more capable of handling colder temperatures than reptiles are. So that's what allowed the birds and feathers to evolve from reptiles, which previously had none. Is simple. It just allowed them to survive more. And so that's the why. The why is always, for all these questions, because remember the question asks when, why. When, varying periods. Where, varying locations. Why, well, to help them survive. That's it. That's what evolution does, guys. It's not that fucking complicated. Alright, well anyway, this is the Muriatis. That's my questions for this video. I will be back very shortly with part other one. I don't know what part I'm at, but it doesn't matter, because I'll figure it out. Alright guys, till next time, I'll captain my captain, and au revoir.